And welcome back to Keto Homestead with Jess. Today I'm working on canning up some beef brisket, so follow along with me and we'll get started. Got my beef brisket thawed out. I left it overnight in the fridge, so we're going to can up some beef brisket. If you have been following me, you know that I've been doing a freezer clean out, trying to get all this meat out of my freezer and canned up so that I have more freezer space for the garden stuff. So we got to get this done. I put a little bit of a dent in the freezer, not much. Barrett's getting elderberries out of the garden for me. He's harvesting today. He'll be harvesting more tomatoes and more green beans. So I'm trying to get this stuff done. I'm trying to get this meat canned up so I have freezer space and I can freeze my tomatoes and do them at a later time if I need to or want to. Also, I wanted to give everyone another tip. I got a question the other day about canning and how I can possibly can everything I can and do dinner all at the same time since I do such big batches of canning. Well, I don't have time, honestly. What I do is, especially if I'm canning meat, if I'm canning meat, then that is what we're eating for dinner. So yesterday I did my video on canning pork loin, so that's what we ate for dinner. I will set aside some of this meat to go into the oven to cook, and that's what we'll have for dinner. So that's how I'm able to manage canning these large batches of meat and also having time to do dinner. And again, this meat isn't completely thawed out. It is a little bit frozen still, which makes it easier to work with. And I'm going to continue cutting this up and I'll be back with you. Alright, so I've got my meat all cut up the way I want it. So here is the beef brisket that I left to cook for dinner. So what I'm going to do is season this and get this in the oven. So I'm going to do salt, pepper, a little bit of stevia, cayenne pepper. Now I'm not doing measurements on this because this is a lot smaller than the beef brisket I've done in previous videos. If you haven't checked out that video, I'll link that down below. Go check it out. But since this one's so much smaller, I'm just eyeballing it. We'll do a little bit of garlic powder. And some paprika. And we'll just go ahead and rub that in really well on all sides of the beef brisket. I have my oven preheating at 275 degrees. This should probably take, I don't know, 4 to 5 hours. I'm going to pop this in the oven. And then we can start on our canning meat. Now this one I will measure because it's a lot more meat. We'll do a tablespoon of paprika. We'll do a tablespoon of garlic powder. A little bit of black pepper. And salt. Don't do too much because we're going to put salt in our canning jars as well. I will not put the stevia in, is the only difference. What I find is if I can with stevia, it gives a little bit of an off taste, like a bitter taste. So if I'm canning, I'll leave that out in this recipe. If I need it sweetened when I open the jars up, when I'm going to go ahead and cook with it, then I'll add some stevia to it. So we're just going to mix all these spices in. Once you have them mixed to your liking, we can go ahead and start filling our jars up. We are doing the raw pack method, so we don't need to add any liquid. We'll add a teaspoon of canning salt. And when you do this, just try to get the meat packed down in there as tight as you can, because when this does get canned, the meat will shrink in your jars. I'll do one more piece. So get that pushed down as far as you could possibly do it. Do a teaspoon of canning salt for meat. We need to leave 1/4 inch head space. We're going to wipe our rims with white vinegar. We'll go ahead and put our lids on and our rings. I'm going to go ahead and set these in my canner, but remember, my canner is cold too. So I'm just setting these in the canner just to get them out of the way. Canner is not turned on. It is cold to the touch. Everything needs to be cold so you don't crack your canning jars. All right, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and finish filling up these jars, and I'll be back with you in a moment. I got my jars filled up now. I'm going to wipe the rims with white vinegar, put my lids and my rings on, and get these in the canner. I wanted to go ahead and bring you back though and tell you a little mishap I just had. So it never fails. Whenever I have something spicy that I'm working with, whether that be cayenne pepper or jalapenos or anything like that, it doesn't fail every single time. So what just happened was I was putting the meat in the jars and pushing the meat down into the funnel, into the jars, and the seasoning, the cayenne and the salt, well, I don't know what it was, the juices, the juices from the meat popped up and went in my eye, just burnt the heck out of my eye. So if my eye's red, that's why, bloodshot. Never fails. If I'm cutting up jalapeno peppers, every single time the juices jump up right into my eye. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe I need to start wearing safety goggles when I'm canning or something. I don't know. But does that ever happen to you when you're canning? Let me know down in the comments below. We're putting these rings on finger tight. I'm going to get these in the canner and I'll bring you back when I'm pulling them out. As you can see, Barrett just pulled out the beef brisket. It's finished. It's been cooking 5 hours exactly. I went ahead and removed the canned beef brisket from the canner. We ended up getting 9 pint-sized jars of beef brisket. I just want to thank you for following along with Keto Homestead with Jess. I hope this video was useful to you. I hope you try it, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.